Well, Jesus is visiting at Simon and Andrew's house and has healed Simon Peter's mother-in-law. Well, Jesus stayed overnight, and the next day was the Sabbath day when they would all go in and worship at the synagogue. So the men started in, and up at the front, they were welcomed by a guy up at the very front who was, it calls the scriptures in the King James, call it an evil spirit, and he was out of his mind, and he was rolling around on the floor and saying all kinds of crazy junk, and the people said, "We're afraid of him. He's full of an evil spirit." So Jesus went up to the man, and the man by this time was rolling down on the floor and everything, and says it was ripping off shredding his clothes, and Jesus commanded that the spirit come out of him. And I have a book here by George Lamza. It's called Gospel Light, and 1931 or something it was published, long before my time, something before my time. And he speaks Aramaic, and that's the language Jesus spoke, and he explains a lot of the scriptures. Anyway, to make a long story short, there are three words. The King James just calls them evil spirits, but there's three different words. One is pharmacia, another one is like koikos, and the other one is oh, help me remember it, Lord. I can't remember the other word. I'll catch it next time. I don't want to start over because I can't remember the word. Anyway, one is like mental illness. Your brain waves just aren't working right from the start. One pharmacia, did I say that? One comes on from drugs. We have a problem with our kids today with the pharmacia one, and then there's the koikos one. I can't remember. I wish I would have memorized those words better. Anyway, whatever the source, whether it's from drugs, mental illness that comes on through age, or if it comes on through just being born mentally ill, it's all called evil spirits that make you act like a lunatic. And that's not a bad word, because there are people that are lunatics. Anyway, I didn't mean to get off sidetracked on that, but whatever it is, the source is still Satan, whatever kind it is. Like Legion, the man of the tombs, that was called pharmacia, which meant he was probably on drugs and hallucinating with all these different spirits that entered him. It only would have taken one spirit for the devil to take him down, but he had a bunch of, they call them demons. Anyway, I don't want to get into all that. I'll let all my theologian friends figure that one out. But the source is still Satan, whatever it is. And I'm spending too much time on this part of it. But Jesus went up there and he helped the man up, and he commanded that the evil spirit go out of the man, and the man was made whole. And the people couldn't believe it. They were just astonished at how, just by the Lord's word, the man changed completely. Well, after the service was over and the people went home, Jesus was still staying at Simon Peter's house. And I think Andrew was still there too. And he was so exhausted that day that it says he laid down in the bed that they had in their guest bedroom there. He fell sound asleep. He was really burned out. And then early the next morning, Peter came in. Jesus, wake up, wake up, wake up, Jesus. And Jesus, what? Wake up. There's a mob outside our front door. They all want to see you. And Jesus went and by the window, he looked out. Good grief, here. He didn't say good grief, I did. But here comes people down the road, and there's a mob in front of his house, and it's growing. They came for healing. There were people coming on crutches. There were people coming holding on to others because they were blind and they couldn't see. And there were other people that were sick. Other people had leprosy or palsy. They had all kinds of illnesses. And they wanted healing from Jesus because they believed. Because from seeing this lunatic in the temple. And it says Jesus was gracious enough. He went out and he healed them all because they had first-hand knowledge what Jesus could do and that he was the Son of God. And Jesus healed them all. And so he needed to go out and rest somewhere. So he went out to a place all by himself so he could talk to his heavenly Father and be refreshed, and nobody knew where he was. And so I'm going to leave it at that point right now. And please, all you theologians, clear me up on these 3 different kinds of lunatic spirits. Anyway, like I said, the thing that counts is, it matters, they're all from Satan. No matter if you're on drugs or if you're born that way, we live in a fallen and an imperfect world, and we need help. We need Jesus. Okay, be back next time. Bye-bye.